there's not enough what had been done earlier, which would have we could use and rely on in order to develop this theory. So I took the freedom and said, okay, if it hasn't been done before, then we are going to do it now. We are going to explain how interest came into effect. So when exchange and when the exchange of income for wealth and wealth for income is taking place, both parties benefit. This is a voluntary exchange, just like exchanging sheep for cattle. If you have surplus of sheep, but you are a deficit of cattle, you find the guy with the opposite, and then you can make the exchange. You are both benefiting. Nobody forces you to make the exchange. And this is we have a corresponding situation here, that in exchanging income for wealth for income, both parties benefit. And they don't feel they benefit, they just say, no, thank you, I'm not interested. So there it is. But there is an interest involved, and let me not go into the details now. I just want to give you a little guidance. If you read the rest of this written up material here, chapter 1, I want to give you a few points of guidance, and then we'll come back to later on to see how interest emerges from this transition. There is a transition from direct conversion, okay, that's just having a chunk of gold and cutting it up to pieces to convert wealth into income, or melt the gold pieces together into a lump or bullion.
We need to change the battery.
So I'm going to refer to this. Well, first I will say there's dichotomy false and dichotomy true. Now, dichotomy is a Greek word which philosophers use when you basically have a choice of two. You come to a point where you have to decide to go this way or that way. That's a situation which we are talking about, dichotomy. And dichotomy false is the first choice, that the guy who has a need to borrow and another guy who needs money who has surplus money to lend meet, what happens? And the dichotomy is false. And I threw it out and introduced dichotomy true. This is the dichotomy. The problem is the same, but the solution is different. In the case of dichotomy true, we are talking about exchanging income and wealth. You see? So this is a convenient way of describing the step we are taking in order to explain the origin of interest. We discard dichotomy false and embrace dichotomy true. Now you have to explain what wealth and income is. I have said quite a bit on that, but you can read a little more here, not much more, but a little more. And then the question of conversion comes up, and this very quickly brings us to the theory of hoarding. But that's not the ultimate. Because even if when you find the ultimate goods, gold and silver, for top marketability for the purposes of converting income into wealth, even when you do that, this can still be improved upon. It's not the last word. You found gold and silver. Because you can improve on this conversion, which we call direct conversion, by introducing indirect conversion, which is exchange. Somebody has a surplus of income, deficit of wealth, meets a guy with the opposite situation. There is a good opportunity to make an exchange. And this, I won't give you an example now because it's getting late. We have a few minutes left. So I suggest that you read the rest of this chapter and then I will just have to go back to this chapter and finish it off. I'm not going to start something which I won't be able to finish in 5 minutes. And this, looking back to what we have done up to now, is to my mind, and I feel very comfortable about this, because it follows so closely what Menger did with the origin of money. This is the origin of interest. Almost word for word you can find the corresponding concept. Here, for Menger, the problem was marketability in the large. For us, marketability in the small. And then picking the right material, commodity, gold and silver. This exactly the same way question arises here. And then, can we improve it any further? Yes, we can. How? We allow the exchange. Individuals can come to realizing what their position was and find the right counterparty with whom he can make the exchange, and that will be beneficial to both. Now I have only 1 minute left, and I just use this to say the thing on zero interest. Zero interest means that you are making the exchange of income and wealth without any premium accruing to the fellow who is doing the lending. But you see, if this is the case, then the other party won't be interested. Because if he gets zero benefit from this, then he will say, well, sorry, I go back to the atavistic direct conversion. I just let's think of a young man and an old man. And the young man has the surplus of income, he wants some wealth. And if there is zero interest, we'll discuss this in more precise way, but let's just assume that then the other party can say, well, I don't care. If you don't give me better terms than zero interest, then I will just accumulate my wealth by hoarding gold. And when I reach retirement age, I will have a big chunk of gold, and in my retirement, I will just dishoard this gold. And that's zero interest. Okay, when you are forced by either outside authorities, secular or canonical, or simply the lack of interest, no counterparty who is interested doing business with you on the basis of positive interest. I say, I'm happy with zero interest, but forget about the exchange. I'm not prepared to exchange. So he has a solution. And it does happen. So my point is zero interest does exist, and that's when the parties give up the idea of exchange and stay with indirect conversion. Well, that's what happens in the last minute. You want to explain something well, but it's never possible because you would like to say so much more. But no, we have agreed that so it's 15 minutes.
15 minutes. We'll come back in 15 minutes after a coffee break.